Welcome to From the Pages of Raw magazine, April 2003, an issue bursting with Attitude-era hangover intensity, ruthless aggression swagger, and early 2000s WWE insanity. So hit like, smash subscribe, and ring that bell, because in the next 60 seconds, here's everything detonating inside before we plunge full speed into the deep dive carnage. D-Von Dudley opens up a side of himself you never knew. The readers rip each other apart in letters to the editor. JR heats things up in What's Cookin' with Down Home Spice. The backstage whisper mill explodes in the Raw. Terri Runnels gives red-hot relationship advice in Raw Sex. WWE crowns the greatest champion ever in a fan poll. Goldust steps into a fantasy war with his father, the legendary Dusty Rhodes. Bradshaw heads to Afghanistan to support the troops. John Cena's early career rocket launch gets the full cover story treatment. Torrie Wilson's Playboy shoot is displayed in scorching detail. Kevin Nash unloads in a no-filter Raw interview. Lance Storm goes literary in By the Book. The Valiant Brothers get their long-overdue retrospective, and the entire issue is wrapped in a double farewell to Mr. Perfect Curt Hennig through a photo tribute and an in memoriam segment. Now take a breath, because we're flipping the magazine wide open as page 1 explodes with John Cena in throwback jersey and chain, the hip-hop hero of the Ruthless Aggression era standing at the edge of superstardom, while the editors hype his rise. And we immediately dive into something you didn't know about D-Von Dudley, where the Reverend-turned-Dudley boy reveals childhood stories, painful lessons, backstage spirituality, and how growing up in New York shaped the toughness he brought into every table-splintering Dudley Boys match. Followed by letters to the editor, where fans praise Shawn Michaels' comeback, complain about Triple H's dominance, argue about whether Brock Lesnar should be pushed faster, dunk on Eric Bischoff for being insincere, and beg WWE to bring back elements of the Attitude Era, while others demand new stars and fresh stories. And then What's Cooking fires up with good old JR standing over a skillet of spicy Texas-style jambalaya, telling readers how food, family, and wrestling anchor his life as glossy photos capture steam, cast iron sizzle, and that trademark JR. Grin proudly, hovering over onions, peppers, and sausage. Flipping next into In the Raw, where behind-the-scenes rumors swirl about Randy Orton's rise, Batista's injuries, the shifting power structure in the Raw locker room, the tension between Rob Van Dam's fan-favorite aura and management's caution, Trish Stratus's non-stop travel schedule, Chris Jericho juggling being a wrestler and Rock frontman, and whispers that Goldberg's return is looming like a storm on the horizon, all peppered with the trademark snark Raw magazine loved to unleash. And then Raw Sex arrives with Terri Runnels lounging in silk, sipping wine as she answers fan questions about relationships, confidence, attraction, locker room romance myths, and why communication, not protein powder, is the real secret to happiness, giving spicy but classy advice with a wink as only Terri could. And then Who's the Greatest reveals the results of a massive Raw reader poll asking who the greatest WWE champion of all time is, complete with dramatic full-page spreads of Hulk Hogan posing in yellow and red, Stone Cold Steve Austin cracking beers mid-taunt, Shawn Michaels flexing with the boyhood dream title, Bret Hart in signature leather jacket and hot pink tights, Triple H holding the World Heavyweight title with calculated menace, and The Rock lifting the belt to the heavens, the readers ultimately crowning Stone Cold the top champ with Hogan second, and The Rock surging into third, all framed with bold red graphics and crowd-shot backgrounds. And the next feature, Fantasy Warfare, presents the surreal dream match battle between Goldust and the American Dream Dusty Rhodes, a father versus son clash, illustrated with photos of Goldust in golden trenchcoat and Dusty in polka dots. With the article breaking down psychological warfare, theatrics, ring psychology, and the generational divide between wrestling's flamboyant present and iconic Southern past. And then supporting the troops follows Bradshaw as he journeys to Afghanistan, wearing fatigues and cowboy boots as he talks with soldiers, shares meals with the troops, shakes hands, signs autographs, poses beside Humvees, and delivers speeches blending patriotism, gratitude, and Texas bravado. With photos of desert landscapes, barracks, and troops crowding around WWE swag. Then the cover story, Homeboy Makes Good, takes center stage with a massive John Cena profile, tracing his unlikely rise from Massachusetts prep school graduate to freestyle spitting WWE phenomenon, showing him backstage writing rhymes in notebooks, doing early Thugonomics promos, training in OVW beside Brock Lesnar, Batista, and Shelton Benjamin, hitting gyms at ungodly hours, connecting with fans through charisma and fearlessness, and discussing his love of hip-hop, hustle, hard work, and proving himself as more than a bodybuilder, all told through giant photo spreads of Cena posing in jerseys, performing freestyle insults on Rikishi and Kurt Angle, flexing chain-glittered muscles, and laying the foundation for a career that would redefine the next 2 decades. While the next feature, Hot Beyond Words, takes readers behind the scenes of Torrie Wilson's Playboy shoot with desert sun lighting, satin sheets, glamorous wardrobe racks, photographers adjusting softboxes, makeup artists sculpting perfect cheekbones, Torrie laughing between shots, luxurious slow-motion fans blowing through her hair, and the article praising her confidence, professionalism, and natural star power as the camera devours her every movement. Followed by the Raw interview with big sexy Kevin Nash, who sits in sunglasses and black leather, breaking down the state of WWE, politics and wrestling, why he left WCW, how he views Triple H's leadership, his own injuries, his thoughts on Shawn Michaels' rebirth, and his fierce loyalty to his closest friends, peppering the interview with humor, blunt honesty, and trademark swagger. Before we tumble into Buy the Book, where Lance Storm embraces his straight-laced persona, while proudly discussing his foray into literature and how reading shaped his discipline, glamour, worldview, promos, and even his ring style, as photos show him leaning over bookshelves, signing autographs with wry smirks, and lecturing rookies about vocabulary and ring psychology. And then look back at the brothers, takes us on a journey through the lives of Jimmy Valiant and luscious Johnny Valiant, their glam rock charisma, wild promos, outrageous wardrobes, tag team chemistry, decades of territory adventures, and their continued presence on the convention scene, where they sign autographs, hug fans, and reflect on careers lived loudly and proudly. And then the tone shifts as Raw magazine delivers the emotional 1-2 punch of Raw photo moment, an in memoriam for Curt Hennig, showing the rattlesnake Stone Cold Steve Austin returning in a thunderous arena eruption as flashbulbs explode around him, followed by a solemn multi-page tribute to Mr. Perfect Curt Hennig. Photos of him hitting perfect plexes, tossing towels behind his back, spitting gum into the air, and swatting it away, smiling with the Intercontinental Championship, standing backstage in quiet reflection, playing sports flawlessly for the classic vignettes. As WWE superstars and staff share memories of his kindness, humor, in-ring mastery, and impact on the industry, closing the issue on a note of respect, heart, and legacy. And the final pages of the magazine are packed with ads for WWE Shop Zone merch, upcoming PPVs, t-shirts, autographed photos, the Divas 2003 calendar, Tough Enough casting calls, Brock Lesnar posters, and Raw brand cologne, sealing Raw magazine April 2003 as a snapshot of an era where swagger was loud, personalities were larger than life, and every page throbbed with intensity, attitude, heat, and heart.